It is painful that Baba had to go now. And it's even painful to discuss transitions in the context of Baba. It's something that I shy away from because I don't think we're going to grieve enough. And I hope that we get strength to be able to lead our people and move this party in unity. But let me tell you, a leader in the caliber of Raila Amolo Odinga, who had very clear vision for the country, and his gains have been made through sweat, blood, and struggles that we all know as a country we cannot run away from. It would be important that when you think about the transition, you think about what are the key assets that he has left. And in my personal view, this is my personal view, and that's why I said on Citizen today that the ODM at 20 ought not to have looked at the positions. The issue of confirming positions and all those things should have been done independent of the agenda of ODM at 20, because if you're looking at the position of the party, the key asset that you want to look away from Raila would be the assets in human resource. And there is no any human resource assets, sincerely, that you can be able to look for in the ODM party other than people who are closest to Raila Amolo Odinga. Starting with Honorable Oburu Odinga, a man who has known Raila Amolo Odinga with his virtue, values, and vision for 8 years. That's an asset you want to accommodate in the party. The second, very close to that, if she was political, would be Ida Odinga, who is not political. But then closer to that is Winnie Odinga. Winnie Odinga is somebody who has known Raila as a boss, a father, a best friend, and a confidant. So as a party, if I was in a position where I could be able to influence the asset that we need to harness very fast, and I know there is temptation to say that, oh, is this going to be a Odinga party or whatever. I think you wouldn't think about it that way. You think about key assets that will help the party move forward. Would be somebody like Winnie Odinga, somebody like Oburu Odinga, without looking at the Odingaism into the party. And then you start looking at other key assets who are closest to him in terms of unpacking his networks globally and locally, like Honorable Junet Mohamed, like Honorable Joe. All these people, you want to gather them in a room first before you lose them. These are comments that I just wanted to make in the context of just looking at key assets that Raila Amolo Odinga left before looking at it in the first. But very quickly on Cherargei, I think Cherargei, I'm a football fan and I play football. And I quit Cherargei to a vuvuzela. You know, when you watch the game of football where there's vuvuzela in a field, they can drown the referee. Because Cherargei's mind is very simplistic for two reasons. One, the selection of a deputy party, deputy president in any coalition is a derogatory of the president. Okay? That you let the president look at the person that will be able to work with better. And I think that this is something that eventually the President Ruto will be able to figure out in whichever part of the region which is bringing in. But secondly, people like Cherargei are people we must dissuade from this perspective that you can keep on balkanizing our country into tribal cocoons. Because he's talking about regions, balkan them into tribal organizations that I think that President Ruto has successfully maneuvered to get out. In fact, you know, after agitations that we have seen with young people and other political parties, I think Mugala Muwe, that's why the Swahili people say Mugala Muwe lakini aki mpe. President Ruto has strived to be able to drive some economic agenda that can be able to lead the country into thinking about him as an economic engine for the country. If I was just to go through them in briefly in 1 minute, President Ruto has managed to have 7 million people deregistered from CRB. I would think that those 7 million people will be able to look at President Ruto not from a tribal perspective. President Ruto has managed to digitalize 6.6 million farmers, whether Kikuyus, Luos, or Westerners. He has managed to do that. President Ruto has managed to change milk prices from what he found in 2022 at 35 shillings to now 45 shillings. And these milk beneficiaries are in Kikuyu land, are in Luo land, are in Turkana land, everywhere. You can see this. Just shortly, President Ruto has managed to raise the price of coffee from 65 shillings in 2022 to now over 110 shillings a kg in 2025. President Ruto has managed to make sure that tea prices have arisen from 138 shillings to now over 215 shillings. You see, if I go through all these things, including the sugarcane plantations that we are seeing in Western Kenya and in Nyanza, you will find that President Ruto has increased the sugarcane production from 490,000 metric tons to about now 1 million metric tons, and made sure that we have dropped the importation of sugar by 70%.